Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Lower Leagues podcast. I'm Alan as usual, and I've got Dan, I've got Stephen, I've got Mike. We're all here. Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing? Mike, we'll start with you. How you doing?
I'm I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, doing well. Played last game of the season yesterday. Played against some good players actually. A lot of them were play sort of in the UCL, and then end up playing veterans on a Sunday. So they've sort of romped away with they'd won the treble this year, and we just played them in an end of season friendly. So it's nice just getting myself ready for Shanga for next season. So just
Well, you
reading a
didn't
few
get beaten
books.
up.
Eh?
You
You're not talking to me,
didn't
are
get,
you?
you didn't get any whacks. You didn't get beaten up like you did last week, Mike.
No punches in the head this week.
Stephen,
Good
we
evening.
we
How are
well,
you?
we all know how you're doing, Stephen. But
Yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about it. I've just got to be quiet. I've been sworn to secrecy. We've got to talk about some other rubbish. So I'll just
that's not really.
just no, all good, thank you. Yeah, I had a really good weekend. But I know I have worked out that I'm getting too old to go out now because I'm still hungover, and we went out Saturday, so it's embarrassing at this point.
You're only young. You're
No,
still
no.
young.
Am I still young?
Dan,
Yeah, compared to them,
Dan,
yeah.
Dan, how are you?
I'm right, mate. I'm good. We've got Liga coming up to the pitch tomorrow night to have a look at it. But all good, mate. All good. So I think that's my season done, to be honest. So
You're not going to turn out for the reserves in the last. They got 1 or 2 games left.
no, I think it's my birthday weekend. Mrs. got the royal hump when I said I was going to go play for the Resis. So I think I've got VIP at the rugby, so I'm going to go watch rugby, have a few beers, and call my season done. Ready for next year when me and Kingley take the league by storm.
Yeah. Well, we've got a cracking episode tonight. We've got one of probably the country's, I would say, leading top goal scorers at the minute in non-league. But Dan, as a resident striker, we'll let you introduce the lads tonight.
Absolutely. So who do we have? So we've got someone who's managed to score 127 goals in 90 games at step 5. So anyone who's listened to this from the Milton Keynes area, that's the equivalent of a league MK Irish playing. So that is quite impressive. So look, thank you for your time tonight. So we have Jake Tabor. I think I said the surname correct, buddy. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for coming. So let's get straight into it because I'm curious. Where have you come from? How have you all of a sudden scored 127 goals in 2 seasons?
I've been floating about for a few years, but I've just always been playing the lower level, so people probably wouldn't take enough of recognition for it because they don't really look down that far. But then of recent, we've got promoted, and it's step 5, and at step 5 level, people keep an eye out. I think anything beneath step 5, people don't really bother with it. But now at step 5, all of a sudden, everyone's kind of seen it, and it's all gone on Twitter, so it's good.
Are you scoring goals like this for fun at the lower levels as well, then?
Pardon?
Were you scoring for fun like this at the lower levels?
Yeah. I've for the last 3 seasons, I've been getting at least 50 goals a season. But again, it's step 6. A lot of people don't really take much note of it, especially if you're not really posting too much on Twitter. At that level, the clubs aren't really that busy on social media, and if you're not posting, it kind of just goes under the radar.
What type of striker are you then, Jake? Who would you describe yourself as?
The funny thing is, this season, well, the last 3 seasons even, I've normally been playing as a wide player out as a front 3. So I've normally been playing as a left winger, but I think I've got the obvious comparison that I always get is Vardy, not only because the way he come up in the lower levels and has done so well. We do actually have a similar playing style, like fast, aggressive, just scores goals. Not like a whole lot of trickery in his locker, but it's just reliable. He's consistent, so he's probably the closest one.
You don't wear a tag as well, then, do you?
No.
That's what Vardy was famous for. I get it though. Yeah, that's good. It's always nice to know what you're up, how you describe yourself.
So I suppose going back, so Amersham was where we so me and Alan, we used to run a radio show and we'd sort of read out results each week. And that was where
Sorry, Dan, just see Stephen's face when he said me and you ran the
Me and
radio show.
Alan.
He was on it before you.
Oh,
yeah,
it's like, you crack
it was
on.
boring though. No one cares about Brendan. So no, what you say? So you, how did you end up at Amersham to then all of a sudden just, as you say, although you doing it in the lower leagues, you turn up at Amersham. Everyone now all of a sudden is like, this guy signed a 2-year contract at step 5, what's almost unheard of. No one's really heard about. How does that come about? Were you looking to move on and they were like, no, stay and we'll sort something out?
No, so coming to Amersham, I was playing step 6 in the same league that Amersham. So the first season at Amersham, they were step 6. So they were going into the league that I had just won the playoffs for. But the league, the travel for it was much easier than going to the league above, and I didn't really have a lot of trust in our team going up because I didn't think we'd get the players in to kind of compete. So I didn't want to go up to just be a mid-table step 5 team. So then when Amersham come knocking, I knew quite a few of the players. It was local, and I know their ambition of trying to get a couple promotions back to back. It kind of just worked nicely, especially just with the location at the time. Like they trained around the corner from me. So that's how I got down there. And then the contract was nothing to do with other clubs or me trying to move on. It was solely because I was scoring so many goals. At the time, I think in October, I was on like 30 goals in about 14 games. So understandably, the manager's really concerned about this player because he's got a player that's quite clearly far too good for the level, and he knows that at any point I could just leave and jump up three leagues, 2 leagues, whatever it is, and he'd be missing a key part of the squad. So we kind of just both come to an idea of, one, I'll just sign a contract. It had perks for both of us. We both just got the security that we wanted, but it wasn't anything to do with the club. It was literally just dealt with me and the manager, Stuart, and then the club approved it. They were fine with it. So yeah, that's when we signed the 2-year deal. But obviously, Twitter was up in arms because step 6 is.
What I was going to say is, I think people would focus as well on the fact that you're the only one getting the benefits out of this contract. I think it's a 50-50, isn't it? The club's also getting as much of a benefit as you are because they're then thinking, oh, okay, so as well, if somebody does come in for him, then, which is obvious because of the numbers, they're actually going to get something out of it. So it's not just you that's benefiting. So I think it worked for both of you, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, it worked for both of us, but it was more just it wasn't that side of it as in, we could sell him. It was just the protection of, we've got him for 2 seasons. He's not going anywhere. Their ambition was never to sell me and also it was never dealt with the club. It was just me and the manager, and the manager wouldn't want to sell me. He just wants his star player. So it was always just a case of, rather than a good handshake saying, Gaffer, I'm not going to leave you, we just put pen to paper. So then it just kind of ended them conversations and them worries of he might go somewhere else. So it was just
solidified it, yeah.
Yeah, it was committing my future of 2 seasons to the club.
So out of curiosity, how old are you, Jake?
22.
22. So what made you? So you scored, what was it, first season 76 goals in 44 games? Is your phone blowing up at the end of that season? Even though you're under contracts, in a nice way, surely if something unbelievable turned up, you're going to go, how do I get out of this and go? Like that summer, it must have been a bit mental.
No, it wasn't. I think partly because it's step 6 and people just say, oh, it's step 6. But the key, more important factor was, if you'd done your research and you knew about me and the club, you would have known that I was getting a decent amount of money. So if you're coming in for me, you're not coming in for your normal step 6 player who might be on £30.
Yeah.
That's a big turn off. People realize actually it might cost 100, 200 or more. And
Yeah.
also he's got a contract. So it's just, there's so many just problems in the way. People just didn't really bother. So genuinely, after that season, I don't think I had one message. I don't think I had anything.
At what point do you feel like you were getting noticed? So, like, at what point did you realize? Obviously, you're scoring goals. A lot of people, like at our level, like there are people scoring sort of 30, 40 goals. At what point did you realize?
Put your hand down,
Yeah,
Dan.
you, Dan. At what point did you realize there was that media attention, that something that was a little bit different about you to like your normal step five striker or step six as well?
It was this season. It's because last the step six season. So last season, I wasn't tweeting anything, neither the club. So without the publicity, people weren't finding out about me. However, if I was posting every week saying I'm on goal 70, that would have
Hmm.
the views would have gone crazy, and that would have like catapulted me further ahead of where I should be, perhaps. But at the time, I was so busy with other things, it wasn't really a priority. Football was always second.
Mm.
So that's why I didn't get the publicity. But this season, I've had more time on my hands, and it's football's become more of a priority. So now this season, been posting more, a lot just from Twitter, and then one person sees it, another person shares it, and all of a sudden it just snowballs into something bigger. So this season's the first time where people have actually recognized it fully from like a further afield. But again, it's just that it's step five now. It's still an argument of it's not a great level, but step six, people just call Sunday League because we was winning 6-0 some weeks. So some of the teams are really bad at step six, but at step five, it's quite competitive.
Fucking hell! What? If step six is bad, Kingy, Stephen, what the fuck are we playing?
Listen, I can, I'm 50 this year, so it doesn't matter what level I play at, Dan. But you lads have got to question yourselves, haven't you?
Yeah.
I will say though,
It makes it a
Dan,
bit more.
I will say that, Dan. So, how many goals in total has have you scored, Jake, at Amersham?
At Amersham, I think you was right in saying it earlier that I did 127 in 2 seasons, and this season I didn't even play one county cup or a league cup game. Literally, my goals were 44 in the league and then 6 in the FA Cup.
How many with your head, Jake?
Oh, quite a lot. Probably
What?
like 15.
15? Good
Yeah, I
lad.
reckon quite a lot. At
How
least
tall
double
are you?
digits.
Are you tall?
I'll claim 6 foot.
Yeah, 6 foot in
5'8".
studs.
Really 5'8".
6 foot in studs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
fair
what I tell my
play.
girls.
What's you were saying that football wasn't your priority. What do you do then the rest of the time when you're not banging in goals?
I was just working. I was just so busy with work.
What do you do?
I sell gym equipment.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So I was so busy with that. It was hard for me to take football more seriously just because of the training and the commitment of traveling further afield on a match day. And on a Tuesday night, for example, like I could work on a Saturday morning and Saturday evening after football and before football. But if I'm traveling 2 hours down the motorway,
Yeah.
that's your Saturday written off, and then
Yeah.
you've got training twice a week at the higher levels, so it does write off a lot of your time.
Can I just say, Jake, I hope this wasn't a sales pitch because you're not going to get many sales out of us lot for gym equipment. So,
Yeah.
apart from me, I can't speak for the other lads, but I keep myself.
Me and
No,
Steve,
no.
definitely not.
So, Jake, you had, like you said, you scored quite a few goals in the FA Cup this season, and as a club, Amersham, they had quite a good run in the FA Cup. And I remember seeing one goal you scored. It was Taunton. Was it Taunton you scored against? So
Yeah.
what was that FA Cup run like for you and the club? And what was it like scoring against a step 3 side?
Yeah, the
Who
run
were
was massive.
before? Was it a step 2?
Yeah, they just got relegated out of the Conference South, I think, the season before,
Yeah.
I was told. But Yeah, the run was massive. It was the furthest that club have ever gone. Furthest I've ever gone, albeit I've only had maybe 3 seasons in the FA Cup, but the furthest pretty much everyone had been, bar one or two. It was quite an incredible run. But don't get me wrong, we had a few lucky draws of lower end step fives, a home draw.
Mm.
But yeah, we went away to Burgess Hill, who finished third in their respective league, and they got promoted out of playoffs. So they're a step three team now, and we beat them 2-1 on their patch, and then that took us to Taunton away. We only narrowly lost. Don't get me wrong, we was holding on for dear life,
Mm.
but it took 70 minutes for him to get a goal back.
Yeah.
We thought we had it in us, but it was a shame. We was missing our centre half. He was in Ibiza with about 20 boys.
That's a big fine.
Yeah, but that sums up like the lower levels at that time of the year. It was like August. People were on holidays. Like our striker was in Madrid doing modelling shoot. Like he's a starting striker. Our skipper wasn't there for whatever reason. So you take 3 core players out of your squad, and we haven't really got a great bench anyway. So it was tough, but it was incredible.
So you going off for many modelling shoots, Dan?
Mate, I don't get many, mate. Face of BP, but not modelling.
Like Wallace and Gromit, clay model maybe.
I am when someone says Sunday League number 9, poster boy for that basically. So I wanted to ask Jake. So we have a bit of banter back and forth around people who call themselves semi-pro, right? We want to you. At what level would you call yourself semi-pro?
I think I don't. I think it's pathetic saying it, but if you're gonna do it, it's got to be step 4 minimum. I mean, step five. There's 16 leagues in the country. You do the math on that. There's like there's so many players. To be a part of a step 5 team isn't hard. That step 5's where like a good Sunday league player would go, I think. And you get a mixed bag of youngsters and people dropping down. But if you really want to call yourself a non-league player, probably step 3. Because again, step 4, there's 8 leagues. There's a lot of teams at that level. You're not that amazing. But step 4, it gets a lot more serious. There's only 4 leagues split.
Yeah, so me and Dan sort of will agree with you saying that for non-league semi-pro football, it starts at step 4 and then gets better and better as it obviously as you go up. So is that the level that you're looking to go into? Because obviously now everybody knows now you've left Amersham after the manager's got left as well. Did you leave because the manager left, or was it just simply you just fancied a change?
Yeah, it was. Look, I wasn't going to play for the club without the manager there. He was the reason I signed for the club. He was the reason I signed a contract at the club. He was a big part in all of it. And with him leaving, I wasn't going to stay. But albeit I would have left anyways, because I think it was finally time to move on. Especially with us not getting promoted. If we got promoted, then who knows? I probably would have done one more year.
I was going to ask actually as well, because we obviously when we do the radio show and we've sort of moved on to the podcast, we documented quite well that you had a really good season and sort of the last couple of months were quite rocky and you did miss out in the end. What was the reason? Was it just full on drop off, or was it availability, or was it just a case of just getting beaten by better sides?
We just ran out of steam. I think we done so well for so long on such little resources, low budget, like low amount of players available. I think everyone was exhausted by the time the back end of the season hit.
It's a lot of games, isn't it? It is a lot of games.
It's a lot of games. We haven't got a massive bench. We don't really utilize subs because the subs ain't great. So I think that was where we fell short. You see the teams with good squads that can bring on good subs. That's when they started to flourish, and that's when I kind of realised it's going to be tough. Like we played a couple of the better teams at the back end of the season, and they were resting good players, like starting players that are getting our squad, and we've got no one to bring on. And I think that's when we looked a bit dangerous, and our run of form going into the playoffs was awful. You're never going to do well in playoffs if your run of forms like win one, drawn two, lost three.
Yeah.
Were you totally targeted then, Jake? Is everyone like you? Obviously, your streets ahead, so did it become a bit of a one-man team, and they're just trying to stop you from playing? Was that the tactics you were finding? People are just trying to stop you.
No, you know what? I thought it'd be more like that. However,
Yeah.
it really wasn't. I think teams kind of realised that if all you do is try and stop me, that's fine. Like follow me everywhere, but someone else will score. Like our team was good, so I think they kind of just accepted that there's no point man marking him because someone else will score. And even if a team man marked me, there was a few times I was getting man marks, and I don't like it. Nobody likes it. But I remember getting man marked, scoring a hat trick, and you just think, well, that tactic's not going to work.
Mm.
So teams kind of just would just stick one man on me and just be cautious. But no, they wouldn't fully.
Did you get the old? Was it like a traditional old school roughing up treatment, man marking, or was it more just like shadowing you around? Or were basically what I'm saying, were people trying to kick the shit out of you?
Yeah, a bit of
Or
both, but I'll kick them back. It doesn't really bother me. Like you kick me, I'll probably kick you harder when the ref ain't looking. So it doesn't
Yeah.
that doesn't
sure
bother
you not
me.
got a tag?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I think that's also the hard thing on why teams wouldn't bother trying to just man mark me out the game. Because if you push me and kick me, I'll just normally laugh it off and just laugh in their face. So most strikers, if they get kicked or you get like your feet trod on and stamped and pinched, a lot of players hide then. They don't like it. But that just motivates me and it kind of just gives me more enjoyment, if anything.
That's good.
Yeah. Sounds like you've got a lot of definitely got a lot of confidence in your own ability. Obviously, with the free scoring seasons that you have had. Mike, how would you as our resident centre back, how would you deal with a striker of Jake's ability and
He
knowing that
wouldn't.
he's scoring for fun as well?
Well, obviously Jake's playing at a much higher level,
Yeah.
but anyone at my level, like
You know what
actually,
Kingy would do? He befriends people.
no, I mean,
He
I'm
does.
not.
He becomes your best mate, and he's telling you how great you are and wonderful. And then it's just a little reducer when the ref's back's turned. I've played against him for years. I know what he's like. He's your best mate, and then he hurts you.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I've always really enjoyed playing against. We spoke about this stuff that when you at any level, sometimes you can see people don't want to play against the better teams. You get it at every level, I think. That people are a bit, but I always loved it playing against the better players because it's a challenge, isn't it? Um, but it depends. I think you got to work out whoever you're playing with. Like Jake's obviously said that he's like nippy and rapid. So for me, obviously, I'm a ball winning centre half. I'm not going to be going massive. I'm not giving him any space to run in behind. But then he's got other things, assets in his locker, hasn't he? He's just said he
Yeah.
can head, etc. But if I play against anyone quick, normally I give him to the other centre half, or I just. I just like step. Well, the centre half I played with most of my career is rapid. He is rapid. So it was good because we could push right up and he would just take the quick one. But if we had two quick ones, just try and limit the space behind you. That's what I always found. Because as a
Yeah.
defender, well, Jake, you like getting the defender's turn, I presume. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing better than seeing a defender facing his own goal, is there? Um, so you're always trying to just limit that space. That's what I would try and do. But obviously, then Jake could probably score a hat trick. Just to let you know, Jake, Dan never got many goals against me, though. I'm just going to put that out there. Do you know what I mean?
Never got many goals against anyone. Worry about it.
He scored loads of goals, Dan.
Not having this. Not having this fucking at all. Who scored 2 against you the other week, Stephen? You
No, I
lost
don't. I want
2-0.
to talk about
I
that.
don't know
I
who
really
scored
want to talk about that afternoon. I tried to
So, right. So
wipe
Jake,
that from my memory.
was it a difficult decision then to leave Amersham? And how is it? Could you look? We've all seen you scored a lot of goals at step 6 in the combined counties, and he scored again a lot of goals this season in the Premier Division North of the combined counties. Is it really been that easy for you?
No, it hasn't been that easy. I think like there was a clip online like that kind of made it look a bit out of place when it goes, it's easy. It's not easy all the time, don't get me wrong, but some of the weeks you score 3 and you play a team near the bottom, it is easy. But the level as a whole, if you're playing beneath your level, you're gonna find it easier than you should. But I don't think easy is the right word. I think it's just not challenging enough. That's probably a better way of putting it.
So where do you think your level is out of interest? Like obviously, for me, I think looking at you, you have to have that. You have to be a bit of an arsehole. Like you have to if you're gonna be like if you're gonna be successful. You look at all of the most successful players; they've all got like that streak in them where you're a bit confident in your own ability. Like you need to believe in what you're doing. Basically, do you know what I mean? Where is your level? Like, where do you feel like at the minute your game sits?
I think I mean, I've got a lot to kind of adjust to with the training and like the tactical side, but I think with a pre-season under you, you get used to it, a bit of fitness. But that being said, I reckon because I watch a lot of games as well, because I like to work out the level. I think I'd be a good Conference South player. I wouldn't be amazing. I wouldn't be bad. I'd just be a solid. I think I'd be a solid player.
But then
Um,
again, like playing at that higher level, you probably would get better. Do you know what I mean? You're not. It's not exactly like you're reaching the end of your career. You're sort of you're only starting, so you're only going to get better if you do you know what I mean?
Yeah, with better players, better pitches, there's a lot of different things that go into it. Like if you're getting a pass to feet into space instead of a pass running out towards the corner flag, it does help. So there's lots of different things, but yeah, playing with better players and better pitches are probably the main two, and that instantly will make you become so much more of a better player. Because when I go to shoot, I'm used to it bobbling up and shinning it in.
Yeah,
If you're on a good quality surface at that level, which most are, give or take a few in December, it's all on the floor. You pass it to feet. You don't need to worry about clearing it. But at our level, passing out from the back only works on 4G or in the summer months in pre-season. Anything thereafter, it's too bobbly. So it's a different game of football as well, I think.
Jake, you just honestly, it's one of my biggest bugbears now. Like everyone trying to play the same way, and the lower down you get, it's like the least technical players are your centre halves. So why are you giving them all the time on the ball? Like, I know I love Guardiola. I'm a big Guardiola fan, but he's actually damaged because everyone wants to copy him. It's damaged football when you get down to like Parks level. The other day I watched the Sunday morning team doing that. Split defenders, playing out from the back. They make 4 passes and then the ball. If you was a striker playing at that level and your defenders are just trying to pass out the back, you'd be pulling your hair out, wouldn't you? Because what's wrong sometimes, I just say, clip the ball over the top, let the striker go onto it. It's part of the game which is sadly disappearing a lot of the time at our level. I'm not sure about yours, but Dan, you'll agree with that. I don't know what Shanger do, but is there a lot of like playing around the back, or do you like try and hit it up to the target man, i.e. you?
We probably try and overplay and then get caught, if
Yeah.
I'm honest. But no, something I was curious about. So, Jake, look, you've smashed it at step 5. So I think back when I was younger, at that level, so I've got a couple of mates who went on to play like step 2, step 3. And even at that level, they were like, in training, we are clipping balls 50 yards into an area. But obviously, you don't look the typical non-league striker. What is 6'4", massive, arse out, hold the ball. But if that's the way they have to play, how are you dealing with that? Obviously, I'm not saying you're not physically strong. You probably are. But was Amersham very route one? Or was it you just having to run channels and just try and feed off mistakes and stuff like that?
Yeah, a lot of it long ball, like it works. It's just effective, especially at that level. As I say, the pitches are too bad. Like we'll play against teams, especially a lot of the younger teams, which I get. They've all the under 19 boys. They try and teach them football the right way, but as I say, unless you're playing your home games on Astra every week, it doesn't work. Like we try to play out from the back sometimes, but we always just resort to the old school style of just kicking it long because every time we try, we just either make a mistake, it bobbles something goes wrong. So yeah, we just clip it in the areas. We used to have like occasionally we have a big striker. Sometimes we play two up. He'll win the flick-ons. But just getting out wide. We'd have a good centre mid. Lewis Stead. He'd do diags both sides. We had centre back that could do diags. So normally it'd just be clipping it to me or the other winger, and then just getting crosses in, or just getting in and around close to the centre forwards.
What was your assist ratio like then, Jake? If you're playing out wide, you're scoring all these goals. How many are you assisting if you're clipping them in for its target man?
I think this season I didn't get too many this season. I think I only got 14 this season.
Don't need to. Scores all the goals, doesn't need to.
Yeah.
So, as a striker, I've got to then ask you a couple of random questions because it shows the sort of striker you are. Black boots or a bit fancy?
I prefer black boots, but these days they don't really sell black boots. Like my favourite boots were some Hypervenoms that were blackout, but all the boots I get are all coloured, not by choice. That's just because the only ones I can get. I could black them out for 50 quid, but I'm probably too tight to spend 50 quid to black them out. It's a shame. Stuff like that is all gone. Like,
fair enough. And an important one for us, we've done a whole episode on this, right? We've done a whole episode on dressing rooms. Showering after football, yes or no, cardinal sin?
oh yeah, you got to.
Oh,
I don't, Jake, whatever you do in your career, mate, fair play.
Yeah.
You're a player in our eyes.
Even
if you want to
to
sign for Shanger, you can.
like even to the guys, which I don't understand, but the guys that shower in pants, at least you're showering. Like, it's better. There's no excuse if you don't want to get naked, just shower in your kit.
Yeah, sold for me. Sold. It's nice to see a young lad at 22 still approach it that way.
Is it a good changing room as well, Jake?
Yeah.
You ain't got music blaring out all the time, have you, before the game? Because that winds me up. There should be chatting. Do you chat to each other, or is it just banging music?
No, a bit of both. I think you've got to have a good mix.
Fair enough.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that. Just the fact that, and that sounds weird, Jake, we're asking you if you shower, but it's a real bugbear for us at our level now. We play in teams where you've got people from the age of 18 to 42.
I think you can excuse
40.
it if you're like fresh 18. You don't really have much confidence. You want to you don't talk too much. Like, I wouldn't when I was that age. You get the youngsters that, and also if you don't play, you can't really expect them to. I think they're the two that you can kind of excuse, but anyone else, like if you're a grown man and not showering, like we have a few. One geezer, he's like 30 something, and the boys say he never showers since they've known him.
Well, in general, or just
Probably full stop.
yeah.
That is mental.
I remember being injured and still having a shower. I hadn't even played, and I still had a shower because it was like, that's what it's all about.
I showered Saturday. We didn't even kick off. But just like
But you still warmed up though, Dan, didn't you? You still warmed up. Still worked up a bit of a sweat.
Yeah, warmed up and done a little bit. No, fair play. So, Jake, what is next? What's next for you? Like, I don't expect you to tell us where you're going, but are you in talks with multiple different clubs, or are you just enjoying a summer and you'll make that decision in a few months?
Yeah, I'm in talks with clubs, but also I'm trying to enjoy like a week's holiday. So I'm kind of just trying to balance the two. But when I get back from holiday, I'm looking to kind of make a decision ASAP. The sooner the better. I don't really want to have to leave it last minute.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want to commit to somewhere and then say, "Oh, sorry, I've got a better offer." So I want to be a man of my word. If I say I'm signing somewhere, I'm signing somewhere. Albeit I might not be able to sign the form yet. But yeah, it's just an elimination process of working out what's best for me, travel, game time, all them factors.
What kind of things are you looking for then when with these clubs that you have been talking to? What is it you're looking for in order for you to make that decision?
Yeah, so level, I want it step three or above, ideally higher than step 3. I've played step 4 before, and it's not much of a difference to step 5. So, and as I say, like non-league, if you want to call yourself semi-pro, you've got to be like step 3 onwards. So if I can do that, I can put that in my bio. But
It's going
that
on Instagram.
Checking off,
like
checking off the bucket
location's
list.
a big thing. I don't want to be traveling too far, like not really wanting to relocate.
Where do you live, Jake?
Live in Watford.
Are you in Watford? Are you? Okay.
Yeah, so I don't like some people would travel 2 hours to play for a team. I think that's a bit much, especially with the training.
And
But
then you've got
also
work
some
to think of
teams
as
are
well,
like
yeah.
hybrid, full-time, part-time. You've got to consider that as well and what works for you. So there's quite a few different things, but game time is the main one of the main things. It doesn't like I'll travel extra 30 minutes if I'm gonna get an extra 30 minutes on the pitch.
Yeah.
So it's just going somewhere where you're loved because a lot of teams are interested, but they're not that interested. You want to go to a team that know you inside out, they want you. Whereas you get a lot of people off Twitter that are kind of just half-heartedly offering.
Jake,
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell, like, from coaches and managers that have been contacting you from these clubs? Can you tell which ones are genuinely interested or just trying to sort of jump on the bandwagon, so to say?
Yeah, it's so easy. It's so easy to tell. And half the time I don't even need to ask them questions to work it out. But worse, if I need to, I'll put it on them and ask them questions, and then you can tell. So like one manager, he was telling me to describe myself to him as a player. So that's not a good start. I like it when
Yeah,
they
someone's actually,
describe they tell me what they like and dislike about me. So that
Yeah.
shows they know that shows they've clearly watched me
Yeah.
and they know what I need to improve and what I'm good at. So
You want a club and a manager that's done their homework on you, really, don't
yeah.
you?
Whereas these people they just go based off the stats, which is fair enough. And they just see step 5, they think, oh, perfect, we'll get him on trial. We'll be a cheap player. Like I had another guy message me. He was saying he was going to phone me, and then he made a few calls to people that I knew that he didn't realize knew. And then when word got back to him, realizing that he's not a cheap £100 trialist, he then didn't bother phoning me because once he done his research, he realized that actually he's not just like a young lad that we can just get on.
Jake.
It's go on, Kev. I was going to say, Jake, is the next move about the level, or is it? I'm not saying it's about the money, but like nowadays, sitting on league, like our local club to me, Real Bedford paying now what step 4 next year, Alan, but
Step
paying
3.
like
Oh, yeah.
step
Step
2
3,
money,
step 3 next year.
step 3 next year, but paying silly money. Are you interested in those things, or is it now about actually no? It's not about the money. It's about progressing my career and trying to get to a good level.
No, it's about getting to a good level. Like, I was on good money before, and that's why I was playing beneath my level for a couple of seasons. But I'm at an age where I could go on and do really, really well, or I might just have an average career. Or I might do no good. But the only way of finding out is trying now. And then if all fails, then I can go to a team like Real Bedford and pick up my money. But at least I've said I've given it a go. So yeah, look, money's semi-important. Like if you're traveling quite far, you've got to think of your cost, your time. If another club's offering you extra £100, but it's more about the money representing how much they value you. It's not about let me go secure the most money. It shows how much a club is interested in you in what they're offering. So if a club's just going to offer me like £100 coming as a trialist, that shows they don't really have much trust or any faith. Whereas if a club come in, I'm not expecting loads of money by no means. I'm going to be a beginner at that level, so I should be on money. But they should be respecting you and giving you something fair. You're not expecting anything good.
Yeah. So can we rule Real Bedford out? Is that
I'm surprised they've never contacted me. That's one that I'm really surprised.
I was about to say, for you locally, that must be a decent option. Somewhere like that would be what, an hour up the road?
Yeah, it's not too far, but that's
Shit pitch though, mate. Awful pitch.
My
yeah.
my old
I've never played there.
my old
It's
reserve
not.
team goalkeeper. My old reserve team goalkeeper's their goalkeeper. I used to play with his
Not bad.
dad. Yeah, I played with his dad, and then I played with his son in goal as well. Yeah, he's over there. Jake, what?
Always knows someone, doesn't he? Always.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's always a
always. There's
father
always
and
someone.
son combo as well. I've played with so many fathers and sons. Jake, you said three things that three things I really like. Firstly, you'd wear black boots, which is a massive tick for me. Good man. I wouldn't kick you as much. Secondly, you have a shower. But the third one, the key one for me is this: that you, like you said, it's about game time. You know, I go and
Mm.
watch a lot of at any level of football, and you just see these lads who are just happy to not play, and someone who's
Pick
like,
up 50 quid.
yeah, and someone like me, like honestly, Jake, I can say this: I'm 50 this year, and I'm going to be so desperately sad when I can no longer play football. And I can't understand people who are just happy to turn up and maybe get a couple of minutes at the end. So the fact that you said that you just want to play as well, that's, going up the level, but also keeping that urge to play is so important, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive. I think we've got something in common that we both hate the players that go somewhere to call themselves a semi-pro and
Mm.
wear a tracksuit, post about it. I hate them people with a passion. I think they're absolute tools. And I'm not one of them. However, my next journey, that's gonna be to a degree part of what I'm gonna have to go through. I'm gonna have
Mm.
to be that guy happy to not happy because I won't be happy, but it's part of the process of sitting on the bench and coming on and trying to score. But
Yeah.
I'd do it for a season. I could do it for a season and get my minutes here and there, but I wouldn't do it for if it didn't work out in a season, I'll just go drop down a level or two and go where I'm played.
Is it an advantage now that non-league is so like? I think back to mine and Kingy's day, step 5, you might have got 40 quid a week, and that was probably a few teams. Now there's so many teams like Real Bedford who 3 seasons ago were paying silly money. Is it quite reassuring to think, as you say, you climb up, you're going for the levels, you might get to step 3, step 2, whatever it may, and if it doesn't, you can go, well, you know what, I can still earn really good money playing locally because people know where I am and I've scored lots of goals and I can go play step 5 and earn X. Because I think back in our day, it was you had to try and get to the really high non-league to even get any form of decent living out of it.
Yeah, the money at the minute is ridiculous. Like when I started, people were happy for 100. That was like 3, 4 seasons ago. And I speak to managers like my manager about it. Now everyone and their mum wants 100 quid is that's like the minimum. That's what people want. Like I was getting offers to play step 5 for near enough £1,000 a week.
Really?
So
Wow.
yeah. And I've had many clubs at like step 4, step 3 with plenty of money that I didn't even bother entertaining. But I know I could easily get like 800, 1,000. Like it's nuts.
Is the plan the next move to almost dedicate yourself to it? I don't want to say full time because at the end of the day, if someone's only making you train twice a week, you're still going to go earn a bit more elsewhere. But is the plan the next move almost you fully focus on it?
Yeah, massively. And that's also why I do want to play higher than step 3 solely because of the training and the facilities that you'd have access to. Yeah, if I go to step 3, I back myself to play every week and score most weeks. However, that's training twice a week. So then if I jump up another league, I might not play as much, or I won't score as much, but at least I'll have access to the stuff that they do, the training times a week. I think that's
experienced players as well. Like as you get up their levels, you'll meet strikers and people that you get information from. And like I think the good thing that obviously it's different for me, but the good thing to hear is that you want to play. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, like there's so many players just don't really bother, not really bothered. Just going to just pick up a wage but it does sound like obviously from an outlook and looking in, the money's silly, but that's at every level at the minute. I think there's players that are dropping down levels in all over the pyramid and earning silly money, but it's good to hear that you want to play. Like that's your main focus is development. It's not can I go here for an extra because there's many players at our level where it's like okay, I'll just go up the road for 50 just for an extra 10, just even for an extra 20 quid a game. There's not much loyalty, is there?
Nah, but what I think I'm kind of stuck in two minds. Not two minds. I'm stuck in a bit of a situation where I've got to do one step back of trying to go higher than step three, and the step back in being if I go step three, I'd play most weeks. So if I go higher than step three, the step back would be not playing every week, but then you get two steps forward of training every day or near enough every day.
Yeah.
And also because you want to progress in and improve your own abilities as well. The higher you go, the better the coaches will be as well. So your ability will get better through all the coaching that you'll get from the better coaches as well.
100%, 100%. And if you go to a step two team and it doesn't work out, you can go straight on loan to step three.
I was going to ask that. So, like, I'm seeing on TikTok quite a lot. A load of lads seem to be doing that. They go to step two, so it's full time in some cases, but yet they're playing at step three or step four on the Saturday, just on loan for 6 months. Is that something you would be interested in, or?
Yeah, I'd be interested in it. I wouldn't touch step four. I wouldn't bother with step four.
Fair enough.
Because if I was step two getting loaned out to step four, I may as well just cut ties with the step two team because if I'm getting loaned out to step four, I'm clearly nowhere near the level.
Yeah.
I
You
may as
kind of
well
get sort of an inclination of what the manager sort of thinks your level is. But if he loans you out to a step four club, then you can't. That's kind of guarantees you really what he thinks.
yeah, and that's just a waste of everyone's time. You may as well just cut ties, call it a day, and go play that level if that is your level. But I wouldn't want to do a 6 month loan. I think 6 months is too long. I'd do like 3 month loan tops. But I reckon if I was to have a month and a half loan, I reckon I'll be able to prove myself in that time frame. But then
Sorry, Jake. I have noticed because obviously I follow a step two club, Farnborough Football Club, and but when we've had over the years when we've had younger players like yourself, we tend to loan them out or to lower league clubs like step three clubs, and they only tend to go for like a 1 month loan. They don't really tend to go any longer than that unless it's requested after that. They go for the month, and that gets them the fitness and the game time and the goals if they're a striker like yourself. So yeah, so that is kind of something that those clubs do at that level.
yeah, I spoke to a couple different clubs and they say the way they operate is a 1 month rolling loan. So it's 1 month and then they want to extend it, you sign another month. Because if you sign a 3 month loan all at once, it provides problems and you can't then come back and go back. So yeah, they just do a 1 month roll in and then hopefully you don't roll it to the next month. Hopefully it's just a one time.
Yeah.
Fair
You
enough.
seem to have quite a good grasp on what goes on in non-league football. Have you got like an agent, or are you dealing with all this stuff yourself?
No, I haven't got an agent. I just deal with it all myself.
That's good.
Just got to speak around, get advice from people that are older and wiser. But you've got to just make sure you're getting advice from people that aren't biased. If you're going to people that are biased because they're at a club trying to get you to a club, it's not worth conversation. So it's sometimes hard talking to people that can just give me an honest, unbiased opinion. But there's always someone out there.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Jake, I think I'll be your agent because I'm a Notts County fan and we need a striker at the moment. We were calling out for a striker at the weekend because we lost in the playoffs because all our strikers are injured. So I'll be your agent if I can get you a gig at Notts County. If you're happy to pull on the black and white. Did Amersham play in black and white?
Yeah.
There you go then.
Exactly.
There's no difference.
With stripes as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's slimming.
Same thing.
Black and white.
More money. No drama.
Jake, I'll speak to you after this call, yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Jake, I was going to say as well, because obviously we when we did the radio show, we covered a guy called, you might have heard of him, Richard Kone, who was playing Step 5 last season and ended up at Wycombe this season and has been relatively successful. Do you look at players like that have made that kind of jump and think, you know what, I think I could do that, or that's what I would like to see happen?
Yeah, but stuff like seeing stories like that are massive. But I think more importantly, it's the clubs seeing that, realizing, oh, hold on, it does work, and he's worked out really well. But I was on trial with him at the same time he was down at Wickham, so I played with him. So I think I already kind of knew. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he was far better than me, but I wasn't a million miles off it. So that gave me a good insight of, yeah, I'm not up to standard, but perhaps with a bit more training, dedication, maybe one day I could get to a fraction of him or some of the other players. But I think with that, yeah, just mainly for the clubs, it's eye opening. Like he's worth like 10 million, player of the season.
Yeah.
They've got to be looking down further now.
Well, Jake, we had a lad called Macaulay Langstaff at Notts County, and he the season it was between us and Wrexham. He was just breaking all sort of goal scoring records, but he was at Gateshead, and he'd been much lower down before that. And then, it's like a perfect storm. He obviously has got loads of talent, but maybe it'd been untapped, maybe lifestyle issues and stuff like that. But the bloke scored so many goals, and he continued scoring goals in the league. And then he's got the move to Millwall, and I think Millwall was a step too far.
Yeah, that was huge
for him. But he was a player who was operating like what you're saying, where you're going to be sort of operating at. And he just got this move. He just got plucked out. He had one great season, and County plucked him out. And he, honestly, I'm sure you all saw, you're all football fans, he was just banging in goals left, right, and centre. Yeah. Just a total finisher. He was a throwback. He didn't do anything else in the game apart from finish. Honestly, wouldn't do anything.
Funny enough, I never believed him. I've got a mate of mine. He was a first-year pro at Northampton, and he dropped into the lower levels. He played like step 2, step 3, and he was adamant that there is hundreds of players in and around step 2, step 3. He said could play League 2, League 1. He goes, it's no different. It is the right manager at the right time going, yeah, I like him. He was like, I was a first-year pro. Manager loved me. Manager gets sacked. New manager comes in. No, not a fan of you. You move on. And like before, I was like, no, it's bullshit. But now I'm like, well, yeah, actually, when we're seeing people go from step 5 to League 2, you're like, is there loads of hidden gems out there who just need the right manager and the right person?
Dan, I go back, after the county games, which I can go up to, because my mate's like the host up there. I go and meet the play. I sort of chat to the players after the game in the players' bar, and some of the information you get about what it's like to be a striker at that level, and how sort of how fragile it all is. That it depends on a manager likes you, he doesn't like you. Someone comes in for you, you make a bad move. You hear these stories, I just listen to some of them, and you will think it's like this really glamorous existence. It's absolutely brutal at that level. Division 2, it is absolutely brutal. And I just speak to them, and I'm sort of standing in awe, chatting to these professional footballers, and I think, actually, my life's probably better than theirs. At least I've got a bit of security.
Mm. We're making it sound so glamorous here, Jake.
Jake's going to go off and sell gym gear now after speaking to Kingy for an hour and a half.
Jake's coming to Notts County. I've already tapped him up. I've just WhatsApped him.
Alan, I'll let you wrap up, mate.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up now. Jake, thanks for coming on tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure learning and listening about you and your career. And I think I speak for all of us, and we wish you all the best in the future. We hope you pick the right club to go to next. And I think after talking to you, I think we know that you know in yourself what you want and where you want to go. So we know that you're going to pick the right club for yourself for next season. And we'll be looking out for you. We'll be watching out for you. Yeah, that's what you're going to say. Want anything to say to him before we go?
Thank you, mate. Wish you all the very best. And yeah, go on and do it. At least we can say one day when he's playing League 2, we can go, he come on a really shitty local podcast once.
Yeah, listen to us chat really shit for an hour.
Well, if he's scoring goals for Notts County, I'll love that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jake, do you fancy playing in a charity game for us? That's my question.
Mate, I'll be there.
There you go.
You get me that Notts County move, I'll play.
I'll get you the county move, Jake. You come and play in a charity game for us. And then we can deal.
Sounds like a fair deal. To me.
Not man. Cheers, Jake.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, boys.
Right, yeah. So don't go anywhere, Jake. We'll have a little chat when we come off. But as you say, thanks to everybody that's been watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be back soon with with another episode. Say good night, lads.
Ta-ta.
Really.
See you all soon.